After all, one of the things that makes America the greatest nation on earth, but also one of the things that makes Boston such a great city is that we welcome people from all around the world, people of every faith, every ethnicity, from every corner of the globe. So as we continue to learn more about why and how this tragedy happened, let's make sure that we sustain that spirit. Tonight we think of all the wounded, still struggling to recover. Certainly we think of Christley Campbell. We think of Ling Zilu. And we think of little Martin Richard. Their lives reflected all the diversity and beauty of our country. And they were sharing the great American experience together. Finally, let me say that even as so much attention has been focused on the tragic events in Boston, understandably, we've also seen a tight-knit community in Texas devastated by a terrible explosion. And I want them to know that they are not forgotten. Our thoughts, our prayers are with the people of West Texas, where so many good people lost their lives. Some lost their homes, many are injured, many are still missing. I've talked to Governor Perry and Mayor Muska, and I pledged that the people of West will have the resources that they need to recover and rebuild. And I want everybody in Texas to know that we will follow through with those commitments. All in all, this has been a tough week. But we've seen the character of our country once more. And as president, I'm confident that we have the courage and the resilience and the spirit to overcome. these challenges and to go forward, as one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, everybody. Barack Obama. Remarks and press conference on the Gulf oil spill disaster. Delivered May 27, 2010, The White House, Washington, D. C. Good afternoon, everybody. Before I take your questions, I want to update the American people on the status of the BP oil. Spill, a catastrophe that is causing tremendous hardship in the Gulf Coast, damaging a precious ecosystem. And one that led to the death of 11 workers who lost their lives in the initial explosion. Yesterday, the federal government gave BP approval to move forward. With a procedure known as a top kill to try to stop the leak. This involves plugging the well with densely packed mud to prevent any more oil from escaping. And given the complexity of this procedure and the depth of the leak, this procedure offers no guarantee of success. But we're exploring any reasonable strategies to try and save the Gulf from a spill that may. Otherwise last until the relief wells are finished, and that's a process that could take months. The American people should know that from the moment this disaster began. The federal government has been in charge of the response effort. As far as I'm concerned, BP is responsible for this horrific disaster. And we will hold them fully accountable on behalf of the United States as well as the people and communities victimized by this tragedy. We will demand that they pay every dime they owe for the damage they've done and the painful losses that they've caused. And we will continue to take full advantage of the unique technology and expertise they have to help stop this leak. But make no mistake, BP is operating at our direction. Every key decision and action they take must be approved by us in advance. I've designated Admiral Thad Allen, who has nearly 4 decades of experience. Responding to such disasters as the National Incident Commander. And if he orders BP to do something to respond to this disaster, they are legally bound to do it. So, for example, when they said they would drill one relief well to stem this leak, we demanded a backup and ordered them to drill 2. And they are in the process of drilling 2. As we devise strategies to try and stop this leak. We're also relying on the brightest minds and most advanced technology in the world. We're relying on a team of scientists and engineers from our own national laboratories and from many other nations, a team led by our Energy Secretary and Nobel Prize-winning physicist, Stephen Chu. And we're relying on experts who've actually dealt with oil spills from across the globe. Though none this challenging. The federal government is also directing the effort to contain and clean up. The damage from the spill, which is now the largest effort of its kind in U. S. history. In this case, the federal, state, and local governments have the resources and expertise to play an even more direct role in the response effort. And I will be discussing this further when I make my second trip to Louisiana tomorrow. But so far we have about 20. 000 people in the region who are working around the clock to contain and clean up this oil. We have activated about 1,400 members of the National Guard in 4 states. We have the Coast Guard on site. We have more than one. "300 vessels assisting in the containment and cleanup efforts. We've deployed over 3 million feet of total boom to stop the oil from coming on shore, and today more than 100. Feet of boom is being surged to Louisiana parishes that are facing the greatest risk from the oil. So we'll continue to do whatever is necessary to protect and restore the Gulf Coast. For example, Admiral Allen just announced that we're moving forward with a section of Governor Jindal's Barrier Island proposal that could help stop oil from coming ashore. It will be built in an area that is most at risk and where the work can be most quickly completed. We're also doing whatever it takes to help the men and women whose livelihoods have been disrupted. And even destroyed by the spill, everyone from fishermen to restaurant and hotel owners. So far the Small Business Administration has approved loans and allowed many small businesses to defer existing loan payments. At our insistence, BP is paying economic injury claims, and we'll make sure that when all is said and done, the victims of this disaster will get the relief that they are owed. We're not going to abandon our fellow citizens. We'll help them recover and we will help them rebuild. And in the meantime, I should also say that Americans can help by continuing to visit the communities. And beaches of the Gulf Coast. I was talking to the governors just a couple of days ago. And they wanted me to remind everybody that except for 3 beaches in Louisiana, all of the Gulf's beaches are open. They are safe and they are clean. As we continue our response effort, we're also moving quickly on steps to ensure that a catastrophe like this never happens again. I've said before that producing oil here in America is an essential. Part of our overall energy strategy. But all drilling must be safe. In recent months, I've spoken about the dangers of too much. I've heard people speaking about the dangers of too much government regulation. And I think we can all acknowledge there have been times in history when the government has overreached. But in this instance, the oil industry's cozy and sometimes corrupt. Relationship with government regulators meant little or no regulation at all. When Secretary Salazar took office, he found a minerals and management service. That had been plagued by corruption for years. This was the agency charged with not only providing permits, but also enforcing laws governing oil drilling. And the corruption was underscored by a recent Inspector General's report that covered activity which occurred prior to 2007, a report that can only be described as appalling. And Secretary Salazar immediately took steps to clean up that corruption. But this oil spill has made clear that more reforms are needed. For years, there has been a scandalously close relationship between oil companies and the agency that regulates them. That's why we've decided to separate the people who permit the drilling from those who regulate and ensure the safety of the drilling. I also announced that no new permits for drilling new wells will go. Forward until a 30-day safety and environmental review was conducted. That review is now complete. Its initial recommendations include aggressive new operating, standards and requirements for offshore energy companies, which we will put in place. Additionally, after reading the report's recommendations with Secretary Salazar and other members of my administration, we're going to be ordering the following actions. First, we will suspend the planned exploration of 2 locations off the coast of Alaska. Second, we will cancel the pending lease sale in the Gulf of Mexico and the proposed lease sale off the coast of Virginia. Third, we will continue the existing moratorium and suspend the issuance of new permits to drill new deep water wells for 6 months. And 4, we will suspend action on 33 deep water exploratory wells currently being drilled in the Gulf of Mexico. What's also been made clear from this disaster is that for years the oil and gas industry has leveraged such power that they have effectively been allowed to regulate themselves. One example, under current law, The Interior Department has only 30 days to review an exploration plan submitted by an oil company. That leaves no time for the appropriate environmental review. The result is, they are continually waived. And this is just one example of a law that was tailored by the industry to serve their needs instead of the public's. So Congress needs to address these issues as soon as possible. And my administration will work with them to do so.